I'm live now. I'm live, guys. How are you? How are you? So there's a few people waiting, which is good to see. I do appreciate everyone who comes in and tunes in live. If you're not watching this live, you're probably better skipping ahead 10 minutes. What I like to do at the start of a video is just chat to people a little bit before I get to the meaty part. Chat a little bit, let people come in, and then we see where the discussion goes. It's always a little bit different if it's a live stream in comparison to a recorded video. But yes, as you can see from the title, what I want to do in this video is talk about action cameras. I want to talk about action cameras because I bought one, I might buy another one, and yeah, just over the last week I have been gorging myself. I've just been watching so many action camera reviews and videos, and this is what I do before I buy something. Although I'm a YouTuber, I watch a lot of YouTube myself. I look at a lot of videos, especially when I am going to buy something, so that I know whether, you know, a device lives up to expectations. And it's amazing when you're watching some YouTube reviews, because after watching a couple of videos, you try and get an average and you try and get feedback of what everyone is saying. And sometimes you do a complete U-turn, and when you're ready to buy something at the end, you decide not to and you go for something else. Hi Ed, good to see you, mate. So I'll let a few more people drop by. And then I'll start talking about action cameras. But the main reason I've been talking about action cameras, I've had action cameras before. In fact, if I can find this in my channel, I'll try and find the first. I'll try and find the first action camera that I had. The first action camera I had was a Sony. I bought it 6 or 7 years ago. I actually bought it in Colombia, and I bought it from the official Sony shop. And I bought it then instead of the GoPro because the audio was better. It was a great little webcam, a great little camera, but I sold it a few years later, and then there was a whole thing with it. The seller basically broke it and then sent it back. Right, okay, what do I need to do here? Switch account. I'm doing good, Ed. I'm doing good. Evo, do you regret selling the Hero 6? No. The only regret I have is I probably should have sold it quicker. I probably should have sold the Hero 6 before I did. I sold the Hero 6 just after the Hero 7 was announced, and I think the Hero 7 might have actually been available for purchase, and I decided to sell it before it went down, and I think I got like, I think I traded it in CEX, and I got like 225 voucher or something like that. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I could have kept it. Yes, I could have kept it, or I could have upgraded to the GoPro Hero 7, but I hadn't been using it, and I either wanted to, you know, buy the GoPro 7 or just sell it. I wasn't using it, but my circumstances were different at the time. I wasn't doing as many videos for this channel. I was trying to focus more on my crypto channel. I was trying to do articles, and yeah, I was just kind of jumping around my schedule and all that. See if I can find this. I want to show you that. I want to show you the original videos I did. See if I can do this. For some reason I had the caps lock on. Right, so if you check online for me, and then you can see all the videos I did. This is saying 3 years ago. I thought it was much longer than that. It must have been about 4 years ago, I think. But you can see I've did lots of videos with that one. It's actually coming up with a live stream just now there because I've put Sony in the title. But yes, I had the Sony one for a few years. That was the first one I had, and then I didn't use one for years. I got the GoPro the other year. Why not sell on eBay or Gumtree or Facebook? I wouldn't go near Facebook. Gumtree, you end up with a lot of people wasting your time. This is the problem with Gumtree. But really, Ed, to put it simply, I would rather take less money and just sell it to CEX and get less hassle. I would rather make less money because it's time. Time is the biggest issue, really, because I've got 2 YouTube channels and websites, and I'm trying to have a social life and all that, and it's just time. I can go into CEX, hand it over, and then it's done. I've got my money and I can leave. The problem with Gumtree, whenever I've tried to sell anything there in the past, is that you attract a lot of morons, idiots. A good example of this is my friend James. When he was selling his car last year, he was selling it for 800, and the guy haggled him down to like 700 or 650, whatever it was, but they agreed on a price. The guy came down, he took a test drive, and then afterwards he offered like £150 less. And he said, no, we actually haggled down to that other price. And he said, well, I didn't bring the money for that. I only brought the money for 550 or whatever it was, 600. And my mate just told him to go. But this is what happens in Gumtree. You get a lot of people like that. The problem with eBay is refunds. So the one I was talking about there, Evo will know this. Evo's been watching my channel for years. I actually sold this one on eBay, and I sold it for a half decent price. I sold it, and it was either damaged on delivery, it was damaged by the Royal Mail, or it was damaged by the buyer. But basically what happens is instantly they can just get a refund for any reason months later. I've seen this with friends as well. They can get a refund months later. So yeah, I don't like that just because there's so many scammers on eBay. So CEX, that's the way to go. I normally go for gift vouchers. It depends, because if the voucher price is not significantly higher than the cash price, I'll take the cash price. Depends, because sometimes there's quite a big disparity between them. But Evo, you were asking earlier on, Evo, you were asking about whether I will use it or whether it will be another GoPro Hero 6 situation. It's one of those things. I'm hoping it won't be. But I've been talking to my friend Michael. My friend Michael, he says that he'd like to jump in some videos with me. You guys will love Michael. He's probably one of the smartest guys. I don't know how good Michael did at school. Michael's actually 5 years younger than me, and I was best friends with his big brother. But now I'm closer to him than his brother. But Michael, probably one of the smartest guys I know, as far as he's like basically a qualified mechanic, electrician, everything. He fixes everything in his house. Really knowledgeable guy. He's like a musician. He's excellent at everything. So it'd be great to get him on the channel and prod his brain, you know, try and get some answers to things. But he's writing his cars as well. He's got a Subaru, and he knows everything about cars. So it'd be great to have some discussions with him. And what we're planning to do is do some videos from the car. So I've actually been thinking not just to have one action camera, but to have two. Hi, Time Bandit. So I'm going to, right, I'll remove this. Right, so guys, you want to know which camera I've got? I don't want to do a big reveal. Let's not do a big reveal. So I want to show you the camera that I've bought. That's good, Evo. I'd like to do more car stuff. And I was saying that to my friend Michael, that it's actually be a good scenario having him in videos, because he's very knowledgeable and I'm a borderline idiot when it comes to cars. I'm kind of a weird guy with cars in that I'm very interested in them, but I don't know anything. So I think that's maybe a good dynamic, because I can ask the idiot questions to Michael and then he can maybe answer them. Maybe that, you know, attracts a lot of people. But yeah, we were saying that. Just have a laugh, swear in the car, have jokes, and just have fun. Put the cameras on and see what happens. So guys, I'll let you know what I bought. Drum roll and all that. So this is the one that I bought. I bought another Sony, which I didn't think that I would have bought after, you know, what happened with Sony before. When I had a problem with the action camera lens before, Sony basically told me to get screwed, despite the thing being in warranty and despite the fact they said it was an international warranty. But in the tech world, you have to swallow your pride, because every tech company ends up screwing you at one point. So this is the one that I've bought, guys. And yes, remember I said eGlobal sucks? Well, I bought from them again. Better the devil you know. So I ordered this morning, so it's going to be another 2 weeks probably. Sorry, I'm typing like an idiot. And they are $265.99, but I actually got like £7 or £8 off because of their St. Patrick's Day thing. They took another £7 off, so £258, and this retails in the UK and Amazon. You're still talking about £450 or thereabouts. So £475, I've paid £258, and that difference in price will greatly, you know, make up for the lack of warranty or the lack of domestic warranty that we'll get. So it's still an expensive camera, right? So for those of you who don't know, this camera has actually been out for a few good years. I think this was actually out before, I think it was maybe after the GoPro 5, but before the GoPro 6. So this is like 2 or 3 years old now. It's like 2.5 years minimum. This has been out for years, and it has been lauded by many people as the best action camera for years. If you look on YouTube, there's a lot of people saying this is the best action camera. But because it's not a GoPro, it just hasn't got the attention of the other ones. Now I'm going to show you some of the other cameras that I'm looking at. I've got them all kind of put here at the top here, and I'll explain why I went with this. But really, the reasons for this is I looked at lots and lots of footage. I compared lots of footage. I compared the footage of this to the GoPro 7 in the car, and I'm not talking about outside, guys, because this is the thing. We will mainly be in the car recording, so it's a very different environment. Certain things like stabilization for the GoPro, sometimes in comparison to this outside, the GoPro 7 looked better, but other times I thought this looked much better, and in the car this looked much better. But the big thing, as Evo pointed out earlier on, was that the old Sony had good audio. This one has good audio as well. In fact, the audio is perhaps even good enough that I wouldn't even have to use an external mic. But if I do want to use an external mic, this camera has an external mic port built in. Now, that might not sound like a big thing. You just assume that all action cameras should have external mic ports, but they don't. Now, I'm not sure if there's any pictures here that show you what the mic port is like at the back. You can see it comes with this little remote. Now, that's one thing it doesn't have. It comes with the remote so that you can see things and all. It's like a preview thing to manage the settings. You can pair it with your phone, but it's not like the GoPro where you can see your picture at the back. I'm probably going to buy this protector, by the way, to protect the lens. That is one issue with it, that the lens is exposed, and that's one area where the GoPro does it better. Right, so I can't see it. There's a picture here somewhere in this website somewhere. But basically at the back here, I can do continuous charging with this with a power bank, and it has a mic port in the back, and it has stereo speakers. So if you listen to a comparison between these two, you know, between the GoPro 7 and the Sony FDR X3000, it's night and day. The audio from the Sony has always been better than their action cameras, and it still is today. And if you go back to when I bought the original Sony, the audio and the original GoPros were terrible, absolutely terrible. Now the audio is a lot better now in the GoPro 6 and 7 especially, but it's still not as good as a 3-year-old Sony action camera. And ultimately, when I looked at everything that I wanted, the Sony ticked pretty much every box. Now it's splash proof, but it's not waterproof unless you use the big massive case that it comes with. So, you know, if you want that to be waterproof, if you want it to be like action proof, you need to put it in the big housing. But for me, that isn't really a main issue, because I'm not going to be using it as an action camera per se. I'm going to be using it like this. I will be using it with the lens cap. So like I was saying there, see this part here? This is one of the problems here. If you drop that and you hurt that lens, you have to replace the lens. And as I showed a few years ago, Eva will agree with me here. It's impossible to try and get a replacement part for the Sony. I took mine apart. I ordered a replacement lens that should have been for the Sony. It wasn't, didn't work. So what I'm going to do is just always keep this lens protector on. So yes, if the case gets damaged or dropped, that's fine, but I don't want the lens to get broken. So this little accessory is like £20, £30 or something. And I would say that's essential to protect the lens. Now, this is an area where GoPro is so much better, because the way that GoPro's got is you can actually take the cap off. You can buy replacement cap lenses and you can buy replacement lenses very easily as well. But if you dropped it, you wouldn't actually damage the sensor. You just damage the kind of cover over the sensor. So that's one area the GoPro is better. And the GoPro, the action camera, doesn't need this big, huge housing. That's annoying that you have to use that if you get it waterproof. And that's an area where GoPro is still leading the line. And as I said, there's none of these cameras here that are bad. None of these cameras are bad. Some of them are better in some areas than others. But I do think that the Sony ticked the most boxes. If I'm recording from inside the car, you know, I don't need it to be waterproof anyway. All I need to do is protect the lens. And it's got better audio there, and it's got a fantastic microphone in it. And despite being 2.5 years old, I think it's exactly what I needed. These things change quickly though. You know, the GoPro 7 only came out in like September, October, but I suspect we'll get the GoPro 8 in like 6 months' time, and I will completely review what's happening. But I think for now, what I'm trying to do, this is the perfect solution. It's going to allow me to hook up a mic. I can use a power bank with it. And yeah, I think it actually uses the same battery as my RX100. I think so. I'll need to check that. So by the sounds of, from what Evo was saying there, he agrees with me that this is a good choice. if you look at the comparisons though, like I was looking at lots of footage between all these action cameras, but especially I was looking at footage in the car, and there's not a huge there's not a huge difference between them. But the Sony just trounces the competition when it comes to audio quality. It's unbelievable how much better it is. And I think even just walking around with it like that, you don't even need an external microphone in every situation. Obviously, it's always going to be better. If you're going to be using an external microphone like this, you're going to get better audio quality, and that's probably what I will do sometimes, if I get this tangled up. But it might not actually be necessary. I looked at some clips with the Sony one without an external microphone, and it was pretty good actually. It was really good. So again, it's not perfect, but what it does have here, another thing this has over the GoPro, and this is bizarre that GoPro still doesn't have this. This has a tripod thread at the bottom. I can attach this to a tripod. Now, with the GoPro Hero7, you do get a case, but in order to attach that to anything at all, you need to put that in a case. You can't just connect it as it is. This one I can. There's just a little tiny thing that clips to the bottom, and you can connect it to a tripod. That is an area where, again, Sony is winning over the GoPro. It's just the way that they do it. They do it differently. I think as an action camera, I think the Hero7 is more rounded than the Sony. But as a camcorder, as a way to record from your car, I think the Sony is much better. Evo's saying, to me, good quality audio from any action camera is more important than super cinematic footage. It depends though. I mean, it depends on the... What have I got over here? See if I can find my... Try to see where I can find my audio. I've got like, you guys probably know, I've got like a really good audio, what do you call it, recorder. Where is it? I've got it somewhere. For the life of me, I don't know where it is. I really should have prepared that before I started the live stream. It's there somewhere. It is there somewhere. But anyway, I've got a really good Sony audio recorder that's fantastic for recording audio. And that is something that I might still have to do. Recording audio separately might be the best way to do it long term. Long term, if I'm doing lots of videos from the car. The problem with that is that you have to then sync the audio in post. I might do that though, because rather than use a microphone that goes directly into the Sony one, maybe kind of with this microphone, this will pick up a lot of background noise. If I was going to hook up myself and my friend to lav mics, maybe using an audio recorder is the best option. I don't know, guys. I need to look into all that. But with the Sony, is covering all bases in that the built-in audio is probably the best on the market, and it has an external microphone port, and it has a tripod thread, and I can use it without a big case or anything like that. I can just hook it to anything. It's small and it's portable and all that. So yes, it actually ticks all boxes. I'm actually quite tempted to buy a second one though, because there's the X1000 is available second hand now. That's about 3 years old as well, and that's available second hand on CEX for like £100. So that I could use that not as the main camera, but as a backup camera, perhaps to show the road, perhaps to show a different angle in the car. That's maybe another option for me. So what I'd like to do though, obviously give me your feedback on this, guys, but what I'd like to do is run through some of the other cameras that I've looked at and give you my thoughts on them. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but it is important to remember that none of these cameras are bad. None of these ones, they're all excellent. And they're all really cheap now. Like the GoPro as well. Officially, the GoPro Hero7 now is £330 in the UK. You can get it cheaper from China, like eGlobal, it's like £285. But you go back, not even a long time ago, a year and a half, the GoPro Hero 6 was £500 at launch, £500, and you can now get the same one for about £300. And it's a better quality action camera. So across the board, from a tech point of view, action cameras are coming down in price and the quality is going up. And I do think that maybe for the first few years, action cameras were not the best for every situation, but the quality is starting to come up now. And I'm starting to think that this could be a great little thing to take to conferences, to take on holiday. It's just a very simple, portable little device to take around, and you can record 4K. It is worth noting though that this Sony can only do 4K at 30 frames per second. So if you want 4K at 60 frames per second, you really should look at the Hero 7 Black or something cheaper, maybe even one of the like the Yi 4 Plus or the SG8 Pro. There's a few different options out there that do 4K at 60 frames per second. But for me, in the car, 1080p at 60 frames per second will probably be the one that I record at because of file sizes and editing and all that. It just makes more sense to kind of keep it consistent at 1080p. Sorry, need to get some hydration. Right. So, yes, this is the one that I've ordered, guys. So stay tuned for an unboxing and all that in a few weeks about it. I'll try and have a look at it closer in a few weeks and I'll show you guys what it's like. But the other one that I looked at today, you probably saw my video about it, is the DJI Osmo Pocket. And I don't want to go over it all again because I did do a video about that. But just to say, this £329, $400 in the USA, this is a fantastic little device. It's kind of a hybrid action camera stroke camcorder. It is fantastic for the money, but it has some limitations. The form factor isn't really ideal for the car per se, but the bigger issue that I have with this is that it kind of lacks a lot of functionality that the Sony has built in. As I said, the Sony has a tripod thread at the bottom. This one you need to mount an adapter to connect it to anything. This one has good speakers. This one is kind of average. Okay, not terrible, but not great either. This one has external microphone port. This one you need to use this Osmo Pocket 3.5mm adapter. Now, the price there at £35 isn't the big issue for me, really. It's more about the fact that when you use this adapter, you can't then use this pocket wheel controller because they lock into the same module port. So that isn't an option. You can't use both. And this doesn't have Bluetooth or wireless built in either. You need to attach another module. So really, you'd have to buy this pocket expansion kit and then buy that. So there's another £135. You're talking about $460 or $465 or whatever now for the whole setup. And you know, a third of that cost, or more than a third of that cost, is in accessories. And when you sell them on, well, you're not going to get any of that money back, really. You'll be very lucky to get much from it. So yeah, it's kind of a flawed device. For some people, it will be the perfect device. It's great in certain situations, but for what I'm trying to do in the car, it really isn't. It really isn't an option. I think the most serious one that I was looking at, and the one I was very close to buying, was the Hero7 Black. From an audio point of view, it's not as good as the Sony, but it's not bad either. It's actually one of the best ones out there. From an audio point of view, the Hero7 Black, it's really improved the audio over the GoPro Hero 6, and I never thought the Hero 6 audio was terrible. Wasn't as good as the Sony ones, but it wasn't terrible. But they have improved it in a huge way, and they've added lots of other cool features. Hyperlapse, they've got the stabilization sorted now. It's basically like they're trying to recreate a gimbal. You can see that there, hyper smooth video. This supports live streaming as well. Now, that was one of the things that I really thought would be really cool, because I love the idea of live streaming from the car when you're driving. But again, it seems when you look at what people are saying about the live streaming issue, you can only do 720p. You have to. It doesn't seem as reliable when you see what people are doing with it, but it's a very cool feature, and you know, maybe it would have been cool to have. Yeah, the GoPro Hero 7, I'm not really here to crap on it because I think it's one of the best cameras out there, and I wouldn't rule me out buying this in the future. It is fantastic. It's an amazing little device. The downside is the audio, because you do have to use that £50 external audio adapter to use an external microphone, and I bought that in the past. I ended up selling it just because I didn't have a GoPro anymore, so I sold it. I think I got like 35 or something, so I'd have to buy that again. And you've got this big ugly adapter connected to it, and you know, that big ugly adapter is an absolute pain in the ass. I hate the fact you have to use that. I really should have it just built into the device, but you need it for the Hero 5, 6 and 7. But again, the Sony has a mic port. Saves you all that hassle. It really does save you all that hassle and the money of buying an adapter. But yeah, the Hero 7 Black is excellent, and I wouldn't rule out using the Hero 7 Black in the future if I'm going to be recording a lot of videos from the car. Now, another one I was looking at was the SG Cam SG8. It was actually the SG8 Pro. I'm not sure if that's the right one. Yeah, the Pro Action Series. So this is the SG8. Now, this has been out for about a year. You can see here it does 4K at 60 frames per second. This has a tripod port at the bottom. It has a USB Type-C port that allows you to connect their own little microphone. You can actually connect a microphone into this part here, so I think that means that you can't charge and record with an external mic at the same time, which isn't ideal. But it's not a deal breaker either. I did like the idea that you could record with their external microphone. They sell, it's like a £10, $10 mic. And the $10 mic plugs in. Apparently it's okay. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be the top of the market for $10, but it just plugs into the USB Type-C port. But again, when that's there, if you're doing a long drive, you couldn't charge at the same time. The other thing was, you can get this for like £130, £135 from China. And most of the comparisons are between this, and they say it's not as good as a GoPro Hero 6, because this came out last year. And yeah, it looks like a good device, but it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But again, this is another one I'd maybe buy in the future, because price does come into it. This retails at like £130, and what you get in the box and everything that can do, you don't have to spend a huge amount of money. You know, it's maybe, what's this, less than half the cost of a GoPro Hero 7. This is a really good camera, and I do think that more people should be buying that. I said that about the GoPro Hero 6, that I probably should have bought, you know, one of the cheaper versions because of the way that I used it. A microphone port on the device. I don't see, if Sony can build, and the GoPro Fusion, both of these are 360 cameras. And if you're looking at for a 360 camera, a 360 video camera, the Fusion is still more expensive than the One X. But the biggest complaint about the Fusion, now the Fusion is about a year old now. The biggest complaint about the Fusion you'll see is that the software is horrific. Apparently you need to use this with the GoPro app, either the mobile or the desktop app, and the desktop app apparently crashes all the time. It crashes all the time. Everyone is complaining about it, and I think they still do complain about it. And yeah, there's a lot of complaints about that, where once you've recorded it, the editing phase is an absolute pain. That is a concern for that, but I do love the form factor with this. I love that it's rugged and you can take it anywhere. You don't have to worry about dropping it. It seems quite versatile and secure in that regard. But the One X is actually getting better reviews than the GoPro Fusion now, and a lot of people are saying it's more practical. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Have you seen this, Evo? This is kind of, it looks like a smartphone, but it's a 360 camera. You can pick it up for like, it's like £300 or so you can get it for. $300 or $350. It looks like a smartphone, and the footage on this is excellent. But where this one really kind of excels over the Fusion and some of the other 360 cameras, such as there's the Ricoh Theta 5. Yeah, I would check this one out, Evo. This is one of the ones where I'm not ruling out buying it in the future. So this is a 360 camera, right? You can see the two cameras back and forth. It can do up to 5.7K, but when, you know, the reason it's 5.7K is because it needs to capture everything. The problem, I was just looking at it there. That's getting. I'll show you that in a second. The invisible selfie stick. The problem with this one is that it doesn't have any audio solution per se. There's no external mic port whatsoever. And it's not rugged. I mean, you can see it just from looking at it. The GoPro Fusion is waterproof and all that. This one isn't. So this one isn't really designed for being like an action camera. But that isn't an issue for me, because I would be in the car. It would be dry. It wouldn't be an issue. And audio, again, like I said, I do have an audio recorder, and I could record audio separately if I was using this, or rely on the audio built in. It's not too bad, actually. But I just felt there was too many sacrifices with this. What a lot of people say about this, though, is that in comparison to the GoPro Fusion, you can record really amazing, fun clips with this, put it onto your phone and edit them, and within 10 minutes you have this amazing effects, 360 videos, and you can get it onto your phone in 10 minutes. And with the GoPro, apparently there's people, you know, using it for hours, and it's an absolute pain. This is the invisible selfie stick thing, is if you use their selfie stick to hold up the camera, then you basically, they remove it in post, where, you know, basically doesn't show in your footage, so it doesn't show that you're actually holding the camera. So it's pretty amazing. It looks like someone's carrying a drone or something to, you know, you can maybe see if you pay attention, you can see the guys holding it. But it's quite a cool idea. I think GoPro Fusion has got something similar. But yeah, it's a very cool idea. And I looked at some footage of this. There's people using this and they hold it out from their car, and they're driving and they just hold it like that outside the car, and it looks like a drone is following the car. It's pretty amazing what it can do. And as I said, this is, you know, maybe something I will buy in the future. Either this or with both of these devices. Well, there's a few things. Both the Insta360 and the GoPro Fusion, I think from a 360 point of view, I think both of them are fantastic. I think both of them provide excellent footage. But I think from what I'm trying to do, I was concerned with both of these in that I would buy them, they'd be amazing, I'd do lots of cool videos, and then after a few weeks, I wouldn't be using them as much. And that was really, you know, what I was concerned about, because I wanted something that would be a primary camera and not something to be a bit too gimmicky. Down the line, I would like something like this to maybe complement shots. Evo's saying there that he's not big into 360 video. So this is another concern that I have. I looked at a lot of videos, 360 videos, and again, a lot of them in the car. And if you look at Insta360, you look on YouTube, there's a couple of guys doing drifting and doing racing. And it's amazing that you can look right about the car, everything is fantastic. But I've also noticed when I'm watching 360 videos as well, after a while, I get a little bit bored having to spin things around and then you're not capturing everything. I don't know, just after a while, it gets a little bit annoying. Now, and I don't know how this is going to go down in the future, I'm just kind of at the planning stage, but if me and my friend Michael or another friend, and we do start going out in the car more and doing more videos from the car, if we're going out more in the car, then it would be good to get the 360 shot or even do a couple of videos in 360. But I don't know about doing every single video in 360, and that was my concern here. I did like the idea of getting a 360 camera, but what I wanted from a 360 camera was really one that allowed me to get the perfect shot from the front and the back and get it separately. And I think the Fusion can do that, but what I'd maybe be doing is sacrificing the perfect shot. You know, you get that fisheye effect all the time. I don't know, like when I was looking at other people talking about it, it's great for 360, but it's not a replacement if you just want, you know, a direct shot. Now, if you look at the software for the Insta360 and the GoPro Fusion, this is where the issue is as far as editing goes. These things have got huge file sizes. It's something like a gig every minute for some of these devices, 360 devices. Now, the reason that is because it's capturing so much. It's capturing everything. 360, it's capturing everything. Now, the good thing about that is that you can later on go in and pick what you want to show, pick the footage that you want, and just clip it and say, I only want to show this part. And then it doesn't have to be 360. It can just be 2D. But that requires a lot of editing. And really, I don't want to film in the car for 20 minutes and then spend 4 hours editing. That isn't what I want. Whereas something like a GoPro Hero7 or the Sony FDR X3000 that I ordered, you get the shot, the frame that you want, you record it, and then, well, you're good to go. You just make sure the audio is okay, and then get it sorted. Now, of course, if I've got a multi-camera setup, I can introduce different shots as well, but it's one of those things. I would like to review a 360 camera later in the year. I would like to pick one up and do some videos with them. You can do all these really cool effects, bullet time and all these different things. Yeah, I think they are very useful to have. But as far as having a dedicated 360 video where someone has to either put on the goggles or they need to keep spinning their phone in order to look around and see what's there, I'm not sure that's exactly what I'm looking for right now. But from a gadget point of view, from a photography point of view, a filming point of view, these things are excellent. I look into this Evo, or anyone else who's watching, I'd check out the Insta360 One X. It is quite an impressive little device, what it can do. Doesn't have the audio, you know, kind of options that I was looking for, and it's not really an action camera, but it's pretty impressive what this thing can record, and it's significantly cheaper than the Fusion as well. Though, of course, if you pick up the Fusion second hand or you pick up from China, you're going to, you know, save a lot of money. So yeah, I've looked at a lot of these. I've actually looked at a lot more than these ones as well. I did look at some of the Yi cameras. I did look at the Garmin, is it the Garmin Verb? I did look at some other ones as well, some other options. But ultimately, I do think that I've made the right choice. After looking at lots of different action cameras, looking at ultimately what I need to record, I think this is the best option for me at the moment. But if I'm going to be recording from the car, I am contemplating buying a second camera. And if I can bring this up, the other one that I said I could get, now this is a few years old now, but the other one I could get for £100 from CTX, so it will be second hand. I don't know what the condition is like. The other one that I saw was this. Now, I was watching a few videos about this today. They don't really sell this actively anymore, but it still looks like a great camera. You can see it's still 4K, but as long as it did 1080p it will, and it does. This would be the secondary camera, so this would capture either the left or right hand side, perhaps another angle, or maybe could capture the road. I still need to think about what's the best way to do it, whether I film the road that we're travelling on or I film us from the back or whatever. These are things that I can explore later, but I do think a second camera would be quite good. The idea here would be is you just set this up, suction cup it up to another part of the car and click record. Now, the benefit of me buying this one over a GoPro Hero 5 or 6 or a GoPro Session or something like that, because I don't think the quality has to be as good for a second camera. I don't think so. But the main reason for me to buy it with this one would because you could actually manage them all in multi-camera, and this is functionality that's available with Sony action cameras and with GoPro. I'm not sure if any of the other ones support it, but the idea being that from the little live remote or from your mobile phone app, the Sony Play Memories app, you can manage multiple cameras, and you can switch between them, and you can tell them when to record, etc. I'm not sure how good it works in practice though, because there's not many people talking about it. You know, there's an official website saying this is how it works, but I don't see many videos with people talking about the multi-camera functionality, so it's kind of a niche feature. But yeah, as far as having another option in the car, I think having a second, who knows, maybe down the line even a third action camera would be really, really interesting as far as what footage we showed live. It just gives you more options, because I think when me and my friend are going to start doing videos, we're going to have one camera looking at us, but you introduce a second camera, then you can show people the road from time to time, or even just at a little window or something. Or then you can switch to a camera from the back of the car. I'm not saying this is definitely what we want, but you can have like a 3-camera position. You can have, this is more into kind of filming thing, and I'm not great with this. I'm not saying I'm an expert on filming, but you could maybe have the wide angle view for the main camera in the middle, and then have a camera focused on each person, things like that. So when someone is talking, it switches to that. So down the line, there are reasons to have 2 or 3 cameras, or even 4 cameras, but that's for later. Right now, I really just need 1 camera, possibly 2, and then I'll take it from there. But it's amazing. It's amazing to me how much time you can really spend looking at camera reviews and looking at video reviews. And it's weird, because when you start looking at all this, when you start looking at different cameras and you're looking at different videos, you realize there's so many amazing YouTubers out there that are really analyzing stuff and really critical, and these guys deserve to be at the top. And then there's some other guys, and you think, yeah, you definitely got that sent to you for free, didn't you? You definitely got it free, because you just say everything is amazing and you don't point out anything that's bad. But you need to kind of, you know, look at a lot of videos, take an average, and then figure out for yourself what it can do and what it can't do. If any of you's got an action camera yourself, have you got one, Evo? I think this could be a good buy. What do you think of this one, Evo? Do you think this would be a good buy? £100 second hand. Apparently, footage-wise, this was getting compared to the GoPro 4 Black at the time. So that shows you how far back this is. It's like 4 years old. 3 or 4 years old. But this was being compared to that. But for £100, it could be quite a good option just for a second one. But you can see here, this has got the built-in tripod socket, so that's a good thing. I don't have to mess about with cases. It will probably use, I'll need to check that, but it might use the same battery as well. It might use the same battery. If this uses this, I'll double check that. If this uses the same battery as the one that I've bought, then there's a good argument for me buying it, because it means that I can just buy a battery pack for 2 of them and then switch batteries around very easily. The older Sony one seems a good choice. Yeah, I've got about £25 in CX vouchers as well, so it's only going to cost me about £75. It says it's B condition, and as we saw last time, you know, that can mean anything. B condition can mean anything. The last time it meant the what do you call it? The game recorder arrived without a box, without cables, without the manuals and all that. It was pretty terrible. It was like a C or D grade. But sometimes I've had a B grade and it's mint condition. Ultimately, I don't care about the box and all that, as long as it comes with the actual camera and the camera lens and everything isn't scratched. As long as that is mint condition, I think it'll be a good buy. But it's not really a big risk. I can send it back and get a full refund if it's not there. Evo's saying that he's got the original Yi 2K. Ah, right, okay. This is the thing. I've been thinking about this the last few days about swallowing your pride in situations like this, because years ago, I won't bore you with the story, but years ago I ordered the Yi 4K and I ordered it at launch, and then 2 months later they still hadn't delivered it, and basically the company blackmailed me because I asked for a refund. They said, well, we're not giving you a refund, you'll have to go through PayPal and wait months, because they weren't going to send the item. And then when I did a video talking about it, they basically did like a spam campaign against me. I'm not even joking, and sent thousands of likes by bots to my videos. But as a tech reviewer, you can sometimes get pissed off at companies for messing up because they've wasted your time, they've wasted your money, and the support is terrible. But long term, there'll always be a product, there'll always be something that brings you back to using them, and you don't want to, you know, spite yourself to prove a point to them, because ultimately, what do they care? And I kind of felt that way with the Sony, because the way that they treated me with the warranty with Sony, and I've had it with refunds for games and all that, they're terrible. And I've always been a Sony fanboy. If you can call me any kind of fanboy, I've got no allegiance to any company, but the company that I've probably bought the most of over the years is Sony, as far as audio and you know, gaming systems and everything. It's always been Sony. I've always loved their cameras as well. But it's weird, like, Yi messed me up, but Yi, you know, it's the same company behind the Pocophone, and I absolutely love this phone. But the Yi have got the Yi 4K Lite, they've got the Yi 4K Plus as well, and the 4K. And they're very cheap, by the way. They're very cheap, people. If I look, in fact, what I was trying to do there was check for the battery type. Where does this say the battery? Battery. See if I can figure this out. Battery. What does it take? Which one? What's the battery? NPBX1, right? So that's the one I've ordered. I think it's the same battery pack. I think so. Makes sense, doesn't it? If that's the case, I think I'm going to order this one. Yeah, it's the same battery pack. So I think I'm going to order this one. I'm going to buy this from CEX. What do you think, Evo? Good buy? I think for a second camera, you know, for £75 cash or £25 in vouchers, and it can still do 4K if I do want to record at 4K at 30 frames per second. And you can see some of the features there. I've still got 4K HDMI output, HD micro HDMI output, memory card slot, stereo, mini jack. It's got everything. As a main camera, that could have been one of my options instead of the more expensive one. But yeah, I think I'm going to order that one, Evo. What I was going to show you though was, you were saying you have the Yi action camera. I just want to show you, because I was looking on, this is the American website, but look at this, the Yi Lite, $56.99. That's really cheap. That is really, really cheap. That's the original 4K, and this was like $350 at launch. You've got the Yi 4K Plus. But just looking at the Lite there, even with delivery to the UK, etc., it wouldn't be too expensive. But specs wise, what does this do? This can do 1080p at 60 frames per second. 1080p at 60 frames per second. And this is what I'm saying. See, for a second or a third or a fourth camera, you don't have to go out and just get like 4 GoPro 7s. You don't have to spend that amount of money. There's a lot of these older cameras and maybe budget cameras from China that can still do 1080p 60 frames per second, and maybe something like this is exactly what I need for a second or a third camera, etc. Something to consider. But you know, if you're just looking for a very basic action camera, you maybe should be leaning more towards the kind of Chinese market. Depends. It depends. It's a good buy, but it's always a gamble with CEX. Yes, it is. It's always a gamble. I'll check prices. I'll check prices to see what's there. If it's good condition, I think I'm happy with the price. Yeah, I could consider the Yi for a third camera. I think rushing out and buying 3 cameras at once will be overkill, though. If I buy 2 at first, though, I think it'd be good to set it up. But yeah, I'm gonna check prices of things and that. But you know, at that price point, it's not too bad. It gives me a lot of options. But Yi have definitely got a couple of cheaper options there, as does SG Cam. So that's another company. I know a lot of people have heard about Yi, but check out SG Cam as well. If you don't need the top of the range camera, if you don't need it to be the GoPro Hero 7 standard, they've got a lot of really good budget cameras, and some of these things are really, really cheap. Really cheap. And the quality of them, yes, it's not the same as a GoPro, but if you just want an action camera, it's maybe a good option. Like my friend, he bought the GoPro Hero 7 White. He was the one that loaned me that for a review. And he bought, I think he paid like 160, 170 pounds, but really he was buying it for him and his kids and just having fun. He could have been doing with just a budget one. So I don't know. I think some of the budget cameras are quite impressive. If you look at them, I think some of them are quite good. But we shall see. But moving forward, I would like to cover action cameras more as well. And I just like the functionality of it all. I've always had a thing for small tech gadgets as well. I don't know why. God bless those Japanese technology companies. Like Sony's always been one for developing really cool products, you know, that are minuscule. But yeah, so I'll be getting a review of the FDR X3000 in a couple of weeks. Hopefully that arrives safely. And I'm going to get a second one as well. And yeah, I'm going to try and set it up so that it's easy to record. One of the things I was going to do as well, what I like the idea of, these Sony cameras as well, I'll probably use an external mic, but I do like the idea of it just keeping the suction cups in my car, and I just come in, twist it on, push record, and then that's it. And you know, from a YouTuber's point of view as well, I'm not someone that enjoys a lot of editing, I'll be honest with you. And you see some YouTubers, I've seen them talking, saying that they'll spend 1 day filming and then they'll spend 7 days editing, and to me that sounds horrific. I love the idea of just going in and recording clips, you know, very quickly and very efficiently. And I think if you look at the quality of some of these cameras, you know, it's pretty amazing. In low light anyway, at nighttime, different story. But I saw a comparison between the FDR X3000, the action camera that I've bought, and I saw it in comparison to a camcorder, the Sony EX53. And outside, there really isn't a massive difference in 4K and 1080p. They actually look very, very similar in certain respects. Obviously, the other ones are, you know, it's got a larger sensor, it's better. But what action cameras can do for the size of them is really, really impressive. But I'll keep you guys tuned. I'm gonna see how these things are over the next few weeks, and I'll unbox it and we'll take it out for a drive, etc., and see what the quality is like. But yeah, this is a 2-3 year old action camera, and it's still standing side by side with the latest GoPro, so that's pretty impressive. And in hindsight, I probably should have bought it a few years ago. But I'm going to tie it up now, guys. I need to head over to my parents' house for dinner, even though I'm not hungry right now. Had a late lunch. You got any questions before I head off, or is there anything that you want me to cover, or anything you want me to talk about? I would say as well, I'll leave a link to this if you want, Evo. There's a link to the Insta360 if you want to check that out, and the SG8. I'd check these out. The SG8 is about £135. If you're looking for a budget module, a budget action camera, I would check out the SG Cam ones. I'd like to try and do a review of an SG Cam one in the future. I do think this is another one that I'd like to review in the future. The thing is, I think there's a tendency of all tech channels, especially, you know, the top ones, where they only review the best products. They only review Sony. They only review GoPro. I would like to start picking up some of these cheaper action cameras. They might not be popular. They might not be as good as the top of the range ones. But sometimes I think these are the ones that people are buying. If you look on Amazon and you look at the top action cameras, they're nearly always about, you know, like £50 to £70. People don't want to spend a lot of money on them. They don't always want to spend £400 on a camera. So there's a lot of good cameras out there that are available for a very low price. So I'd like to test some of those as well. Some of them are garbage, I won't lie to you. Some of those cameras are garbage, but there are some gems out there as well. So I'll try and get more reviews of that in the future as well. But thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching Evo. If you're not a subscriber already, please do subscribe. I'll try and do more live streams for certain things like this. I think for certain things, a live stream is a great setup, you know, as far as going back and forth. Maybe even do unboxings and different things like that live as well. But thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I appreciate all your support, Evo, and everyone else who's been watching. I'll let you guys know how I got on with the Sony FDR. I think you're right though, Evo. I think the X1000 one, I think for £100 it could be a good way to add a second camera and still get, you know, good quality footage. I don't think there'll be a massive difference between them. I really don't think so. But the other one, for the difference, I get the live remote and I get it brand new and all that. So the second camera, yeah, it'd actually be quite handy if they use the same battery. That's the one thing I know. I don't want to have 3 cameras in the car, or 4 cameras in the car, and one's a GoPro, one's a Yi, one's a Sony, one's a, you know, I'll be sitting with all these battery chargers around the place. If I could just get, you know, something that's got the same battery, 2 Sonys or 2 GoPros, or 2 Sonys and 2 GoPros, it's probably a better setup as far as a practicality point of view. But thanks for watching. I do appreciate Evo. I'll keep you guys updated with everything, and yeah, I'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers for watching, guys. Have a fantastic Sunday, and I'll speak to you all in the future. Cheers.